Hiya. So today has been a bit all over the place. I haven't managed to record my food at the early part of it, and then stress got the better of me, and then I overate on things, and I haven't gone too far over my sins, and I haven't eaten anything particularly unhealthy because I don't have anything like that over in my house anymore. So it's not dreadful, but I just didn't like the way it made me feel. Um, so basically, I've got no food diary today, but what I would like to do is do a video about something I've been meaning to do for a little while, is engaging with joy and small pleasures. I've got a couple of bits written down over a period of time, kind of had a little think about, and so I'm just going to have a little read and have a little chat. Okay, so since I've also got a decaffeinated coffee with almond milk sat there with me as well. So since giving up sugar around probably about, I can't remember, maybe 4 weeks ago or something like that, one of the things my brain does is say, but what have I got to look forward to now? It says to me, if you don't have binging and if you don't have sugar, then what is there? And you're not even having any caffeine. What have I got to boost my life? And I think what it's made me realise is that if sugar is the only thing I have to look forward to, then something is wrong. If caffeine is the only thing I've got to look forward to, then something is wrong. And I've been going through obsessive thinking about sugars. I've been going through wanting to talk about sugars, related foods. I've been wanting to, weirdly enough, I haven't actually been wanting to eat it. But I've been wanting to talk about it, and I've been wanting to think about it. I even had a dream about eating it. I had a dream about binging, and it's and I sort of just chatting to my partner briefly. It's like the stages of addiction passing through. He said that when he gave up smoking, that he started dreaming about it a little bit later on, and it's almost like the brain is almost testing out the neurons just to check to see if they're still there, if that's something you're still doing. So I thought what I would do is just try and address the fact that my brain thinks that sugar and binging is one of its main ways to get joy. I don't get joy from thinking about travelling the world. I don't get joy about thinking about climbing a mountain. Those kind of adverts where you're like, these people are so happy, they're doing all these extravagant adventures. That's never held any interest for me whatsoever. And they are exciting. So I struggle on finding any of those things interesting. I don't really want to go to a theme park. I don't really want to, all of those classic things that someone would think is very exciting. I don't want to go and see a band play. I don't want to see go to the theatre. And none of those things are of any interest to me whatsoever. And I think maybe I've never learnt how to enjoy things. I've never learnt how to and I've written there, engage with joy. I don't think I've ever really learnt how to actually experience pleasure in that way. I think my pleasure has always come from food, so I don't really know how to engage in other ways. We got here. I think I might have written it there. Yeah, so I've got small. So what I did, at the when my second child was born, I understood that I was very unhappy, and I wasn't suicidal in terms of I wanted to kill myself. I was just always thought I was going to die. So I don't know whether that was a sense of, I just always had a sense of impending doom. I felt scared and worried, and I didn't think I wanted to kill myself. I just felt like I used to be scared of sleeping, because sleeping felt like I was dying. Every single time I went to sleep, I felt like I was going to die. And I think what I decided to do at that point is learn about simple pleasures. So thinking about how I did one the other day, like, you know how if you're weighing something out on the scales and it hits the exact, say for example you're weighing out oats and you just pour some and then you stop and it hits exactly 40 grams, you're like, yeah, I've hit exactly, those little small pleasures, the way, in which I quite like the way in which a plate, when you drop a plate slightly and it kind of spins around on itself slightly as it goes down, it kind of wobbles down on itself, makes a lovely satisfying noise. I've been working on lots of kind of ways in which to just enjoy the very, very small minutiae of life, because at the time when the kids were small, I didn't have access to any of the big joy things. I didn't have access to being able to go out of the house by myself. I didn't have access to kind of things that I enjoy now, like going to the library. Library by myself. I couldn't do those at that point, and I think I got quite into really engaging with those really small pleasures. And I think it's now time for me to re-engage with those small pleasures again. I think I have taken sugar out of my life and I'm comfortable with that. Although my brain is uncomfortable with the fact that it doesn't have it anymore, I certainly don't want to go back to eating it. That's not something I'd at all want to choose, but my brain has to figure out another way of finding joy. And I think that finding small pleasures again in my life, that's what's going to help me not rely on sugar for my joy. There was a piece here which says, when I went to Paris, to visit my friend at the time, and we were just going to go down the road to see Notre Dame, the cathedral, and there was a string on a lamppost, and I was wondering why it was there, and my friend said, but you are down the road from Notre Dame and all you're interested is in a string on a lamppost. And she was very indignant with me, obviously, because I was an uncultured person, and I was fascinated. I think I remember taking a photo of it, but it was the concept that there was a string on the lamppost, but why was it there? Why, what was its thing behind it? And I was just thinking, what is that doing there? And I think she was so kind of annoyed with me that I would find such interest in such an inane thing, but couldn't, I might say I still enjoyed Notre Dame and its, skillful architecture and stuff, but the string on the lamppost was just as interesting to me. And I wonder if that's just the way my brain behaves, in that I struggle to find joy in stuff that people normally would find joy in. I've got a couple of bits here I seem to have written, which is, I enjoy a clean cup from a cupboard. So the joy of just, when you want a hot drink, you just get a cup from the cupboard. I enjoy a hug from my children. I enjoy an astute statement from my children. Those moments where you suddenly realise how clever your children are. Those bits where you suddenly go, oh, actually, you know a lot about life, don't you? Actually, you've really grokked that, you really, and it sort of makes you pop out of your own brain and go, oh, actually, I've got somebody in my life that can actually teach me something. I've got here so much of my life, joy is related to food, and I need to find a balance. And I've written here, and I wonder if that is why I don't find climbing mountains joyful. I just don't know how to accept joy into my life. And I've also written here, I also cutting open a watermelon. You know, that kind of you put the knife in, and then you just kind of put it round a bit, and then it starts to split, and the kind of the tautness of the watermelon, it just splits. I quite enjoy cutting open a watermelon. I've got here, what do you enjoy? Where do you gain your joy in your life? Not related to food. So I think that's a question I'd like to ask you guys, which is, what do you enjoy? Do you have small pleasures in your life that you enjoy? Do you, is it something that you do in your life? Are you able to enjoy the bigger things in life? Because I just don't think I know how to do it. And I think that's where one of my big problems lie. I mean, I'm not, I don't know why, but I just, I don't know whether I'm scared about being happy. I don't know whether, whether I don't think it's for me or what. But I think I'd like to know, where you gain your joy in your life that isn't related to food. So what sort of things do you enjoy that is not food related? Because it would be fascinating to know the types of things that I could start to use as a tool to help myself feel joy and engage with it in terms of not bucking against it all the time. And I think that will help me kind of, and it's not even cravings anymore. I don't get the cravings. It's more like, it's almost like I'm mourning the loss of it. It's very melodramatic, I know, but it feels like, having dreams about it and being obsessed about it. It's just like I'm like letting go almost. And I certainly don't have cravings for sugar. I still have cravings for kind of comfort foods, I'd say, like bread and kind of fatty foods and that sort of thing. But the benefit of that is that that's not a problem. That's totally fine. That involves me having a bit of a balance around my fats, because of course the fats and stuff that's not sugar related whatsoever, and there's a good chance that sometimes if you're not concentrating on a slimming world, you can get a bit too low fat. And I have been trying to increase a bit more bread in my diet, but that comes sometimes at a bit detriment to the nuts and stuff. So, and olives and things like that. So, that's a fair comment that my body would want more fats. But I've not at all craved sugar. I've just missed it. I've missed the feeling of eating chocolate, and I've missed the feeling of having that kind of special occasion around things, getting biscuits and having some with tea, and I've missed that sort of thing. But I know full well that I can get joy out of other things. I just don't know how to do that yet. Fascinatingly enough, my mum popped down over early with my dad, and they were just helping me out with my house. Some bits like get a new bulb and stuff for the kitchen light, which is now back on. I have light in the house. And my mum had brought some chocolate biscuits with her, which obviously she gave some to my daughter and some to my son. But she just had brought half packet of biscuits with her. It was just like something she brought with her. Which I was like, you just got emergency chocolate biscuits. And she's like, yep, emergency chocolate biscuits. And I think that's the bit, isn't it? And I think, I grew up with a mum that would have emergency chocolate biscuits in her purse at all times. So, you know, I've got a lot of learning to do. I've got a lot of changing my brain chemistry from somebody who gets joy from food to somebody who gets joy from other things, you know, as well. Because of course there's lots of stuff we can eat that we get, you know, we enjoy and stuff, but it's that kind of real hit of life which I was getting from sugar, which I need to really figure out how to get from actual life instead of sugar. Okay, thanks so much, guys. I'm going to put together a food diary for tomorrow. Obviously, I'll make sure I video it tomorrow. Today just did not go to plan, but that's one thing of life, isn't it? Sometimes things don't work perfectly, but the best thing you can do is just keep figuring out why it doesn't necessarily go to plan, and just figure out how to get yourself back on. So it's easy enough, because all I do is just, you know, wake up in the morning and excuse me, carry on doing my plan. So that's not a big deal. Okay then, guys, I'm going to go and drink this rest of the drink and then go and head up to bed. Lots of love. Speak to you soon. Bye.